Hello and welcome, I'm Arumba. Thank you for joining me. Let's play some more Crusader Kings 2, the tutorial series. So we are currently going to siege down the capital of our enemy, King Aid of Tara. And our wife is pregnant. Yay! This woman is with child. Spouse opinion plus 25. So we like the fact that she's got a baby in her. Spouse view on pregnant plus 25. These numbers can, I found when I first started playing the game, be a little confusing. The top number is our opinion of her, or rather, the top number is this character's opinion of her liege, which may or may not be us. For instance, if we go look at another next door neighbor, like say this guy, and then find one of his vassals and then click on it, top number is his opinion of his liege. Bottom number is the liege's opinion of him. The King Burgred's opinion of Earl Wolfget. And then this is his opinion of us. This number will always be, always be the character's opinion of our character. So 21. So he actually likes us fairly decent. He likes the fact that we've got good state diplomacy and we've got a little tiny bit of prestige under our belt. Man, we have really taken a turn for the worse with these military traits. Becoming craven and maimed. We lost 4 martial score. Just 20% levy. Rather unfortunate. We're down by 20% on that number. Still, we've got plenty of money that we can use to fund these mercenaries, and we'll be able to make up for it, I think. Now, unfortunately, sometimes when you are plotting to kill people, someone may reveal your plot. This character is a drunk, evidently. He is, you know what, he's actually not a drunk, but apparently he got into a drunken stupor. If you are a drunkard, you're far more likely to reveal a plot. But our plot will be revealed. King Louis II's opinion of us will go down by 200 for 120 months. So for 10 years, this 7-year-old's going to have it out against us. King Louis's opinion of us will also go down by -10. Fortunately, since we are plotting to kill someone who is not in our court, it doesn't really matter. This guy hates us. Big deal. If we were plotting to kill someone in our own court, then the -10 for 60 months would affect everyone. And so, we don't really care that we got caught. We're not going to stop. It's just, whatever. So you know we're trying to kill you. Keep your eyes open. It's still going to happen. Okay, we're currently on speed 4, just waiting for the siege to complete. Okay, we got our 10.9 gold. We only lost 15 troops due to siege events. Now, we'll probably go ahead and assault. This is a fairly good ratio. If this was my own levy, just 2,130 troops of my levy, I would not assault. Because it is going to take time for my levy to recover. But I know that roughly 1,442 of these 2,000 troops are mercenaries. And I don't give a crap about them. So that means that even though this is a pretty close call on whether it's a good idea to assault or not, the fact that they're mercenaries means I don't care. And there's no like monarch points in this game to consider. Assault just means take it faster. There's also no breached walls modifier that you have to wait for before assaulting makes sense. It's just very simple. If you have more than 10 times their number, it's generally a good idea to assault. You'll usually lose just as many men due to the assault as you would due to siege events. So we'll go ahead and assault. Now, one thing that's really interesting about assaulting is that your assault score, like how well they do with assault, is based on the skirmish values of your army. The skirmish value. Not the melee, not the pursue, just skirmish. So let's say you have a huge army of archers. You'll do very well with assaults relative to someone who has a huge army of pikemen. 0.1 is significantly less than 5. So one of the things that you'll see me do quite often in my Crusader Kings 2 campaigns is I really place a huge amount of priority on retinues that have lots of archers in them. I really like the skirmish retinue because you get 400 archers and 100 heavy infantry. It's just really good for assaulting. But we'll talk about retinue a little bit further in the future. We don't have enough retinue cap to even consider it yet. So we're going to continue this. We just assaulted that just in a couple of days. We did lose about 400 overall troops. There's our plot. Ready to kill King Louis. 18.9 gold. See, that money is paying the monthly cost of having these mercenaries on hire. So, depending on your income, you might even consider keeping mercenaries permanently on hire. Generally, only if you're going to be at war quite often. So we lost 200 men, but most of those are going to be mercenaries. We don't care. Now, mercenaries will recover in the field. Right now we have 1,133. Notice the monthly cost has dropped down to 5.5 because it is not at full strength. And then every month they're going to recover some troops back up to that 1,500 that they started at. So we are now at 92% war score because we occupy most of his territory. We also hold a few of his characters prisoner. We hold Philimid and Ulgarg. How did we get them? Well, most likely, we had a... Oops, wrong button. We had a character imprisoned event. Ulgarg, Mech something, whatever his name is. And character imprisoned, the other one. So because we sieged this holding, we captured some characters. Now, if you want to, you can right-click on that and then make it a high priority pop-up if you're not seeing it as a big pop-up saying, hey, we caught that guy. But generally, I don't really care, so I usually put it on high priority. Now, those two characters are both worth 5% war score, which is really not very much in the grand scheme of things. Prisoners are going to show up in this page. Unfortunately, our enemy is not willing to ransom them. There's a ransom prisoner button here that, if it is possible for the character to ransom it, it will be lit up. Either he doesn't want the characters back, or he doesn't have the money to pay for it, but the fact that it's grayed out just means that he is physically incapable of doing it, or doesn't want to do it. We go and try to check it, we can see that his opinion is just, he doesn't like him very much. That's funny. Who are you? You're not his son, are you? We're getting war score for those characters, most likely because he is, they are in line of succession. But it's comical that he has no interest in them. Well, very well. We could just release them, but there's no point to that, really. So we're going to go fight another army. Watch the troop values, 1685. You'll see that tick up every now and then because the mercenaries are getting reinforcements. Now, mercenaries will reinforce, but your levy will not. In fact, your levy needs to be fully released before you can raise any more troops up. Now, this is on a per holding basis. So, for instance, if we were to release just the army from the county capital here of Dunasid, then we could re-raise and pick up those extra 98 out of 416 men. If we were to release the bishopric, we could pick up those 61. If we release them both, we can pick up all of them. But these men cannot be raised separately. If you try to go here and raise the levy, it just says dismiss levy. So one of the reasons that players usually do so much better than the AI, generally, is that the AI doesn't know when to disband and re-raise. It's a very common behavior for a player to release and re-raise, because you can see we have 525 men raised, there are 159 men that are unraised, and at most we could raise 852. So if we were to release and re-raise, we could have more. We could be nearly at full strength. It would be a good idea to consider if our army is near this province. Same thing with vassal levies. We don't actually have any vassal levies to be raised. I'm guessing that, what's the deal with you? He doesn't like us at all, and so he's not going to give us any levy, unfortunately. You are able to raise 0% due to opinion 0. So because he's below 0 opinion, he's just not going to give us any army at all. Later on, we'll have some laws available that'll force him to, even if he hates us. But for now, we don't have the option. We can try to make him happier by giving him some money, or we can grant him an honorary title. These are kind of honorifics. They just don't really do too much at all, aside from make people like you. You only have a few of them to give out, so you need to be a bit kind of cautious about where you put them. They get retracted when the character dies, and you can also revoke it. So if we brand this guy as our cupbearer, then when he dies, the title will be available to give away again. So, unfortunately, despite the fact that it says poison is always a danger, so being entrusted with serving drinks is a great honor, despite the fact that it says that, making this guy our cupbearer will not protect us from kill plots that are related to wine. Although I feel like that's a missed opportunity by Paradox. We'll make him cupbearer just so he has at least positive opinion. You can only give him one honorific. There are a couple that you can overlap, but generally you can usually just give him one character, one honorary title. I'm not going to send him a gift because I don't care about his opinion that much, but at the least he's at positive 8, which would mean that now we can actually raise a levy if it was not depleted. So let's go fight this little army here. Failure, the hired assassin did not get a chance to push King Louis II off of the walls. At least the plot remains unknown. So we failed to kill him. Again, we have a bunch of larger armies, so we just win. And there's 8.5 war score this time, and we actually captured Earl Malmur of Athol. Now this one popped up, most likely because he is a little bit more important than the previous guy. We'll go check out our prisoners. How on earth? Oh, that's right, it's the Scottish king. Okay, so he called in Scotland. Scotland came over, and the King of Scotland has his vassals leading armies, and we actually captured a count. Just a random count from Scotland was captured. This is a fantastic turn of events for us, because this guy is going to be ransomable for 70 gold. He's going to pay the expense himself, but if he couldn't, we could ask the King of Scotland if he would like to ransom the character, but he wouldn't care. Now there is a formula for the ransom price. If you ransom someone who is a baron, they hold a sub-holding in a county. It's always going to be 25 gold. If you ransom someone who is a count level, it's going to be 70. A duke is 145. A king is 250. And an emperor is 385. That's just a fixed price. It's one of the things that I also think Paradox has maybe missed out on, the ability to do a slider and actually accept less money. But a little trick you can do is, let's say that this character only has 60 gold. You can always send your prisoner a gift. Go in here and you send him a gift. Let's say that he was at 60 and he can't afford to ransom himself. Well, I can give him 36 and then ransom him for 70 for a net profit of whatever the difference is. And that's still better than just letting him sit in my prison forever. Now, if this guy were a particularly formidable military man and I was worried about losing the war due to him winning battles, I might keep him in prison till the war's over. But I'm not really worried about it, so let's just ransom him now and get the money. Rise of the Shia. This is just a random event related to the Muslims and the Shia. There's various versions or branches to the Muslim faith. You've got the Ibadi, the Shia, and the Sunni, and it's a religious event related to the formation of the Shia or something like that. Okay. So we are at 100% war score now, which means that regardless of whether he wants to surrender or not, he has to. There is no negotiating at this point. If we don't do anything, he'll pop up a thing saying he'd like to surrender. Again, keep in mind, just like I talked about earlier, there is no option to add more war goals. I can't say, well, since the King of Scotland got involved, I'd like to make you my vassal, or I want you to give me land, or I want you to pay money. Nope. You're just always going to negotiate with the person that you're at war with. There is no taking over control of the war. There's no someone else becoming the major party or whatever. We're just going to enforce demands and take exactly what we declared over. He loses 100 prestige. We gain 100 prestige, and that's it. So we have just usurped the title, Petty Kingdom of Tara, from that dude. The Desmondian claim on Tara has ended. Earl, whatever our name is, has won. And we are now at war with somebody else. So, because we became the King of Tara, we are now defending against whoever else this guy, the former King of Tara, was attacking over. Because someone else was attacking over the exact same title as what we have, the war was transferred. If the war was against the former King of Tara for any other reason, like, for instance, a war against the tyranny of that character, then the war would just end inconclusively, which is an incredibly annoying and frustrating mechanic in Crusader Kings 2, where you might spend 30 years fighting a war, and then a character dies, and then the war ends inconclusively, and then you rage quit. But it's something just to be aware of. But anyway, we've inherited his war. we now have that former character as a vassal. He's not going to be very happy with us. Defending versus foreigners helps, but the fact that we declared war on him and usurped his title, and the fact that he has a strong claim on that means that he's going to hate us. If it wasn't for the defending versus foreigners bonus right now, he'd be at negative 45. So it's pretty likely we're going to pay attention to this guy. He's already marked as special interest, but we'll keep him so. And, yeah. So now we are fighting against who? If you ever find yourself in a war and you don't know who the enemy is, this is actually a very important skill to learn. How do you identify what you need to fight over? We are here. We are fighting against Earl Dunshad of Ormond. So you click on this. That's going to take you to him. Click on him again, and then you can see all of his titles. Do that thing we did before, where you click on him, it'll zoom to him, zoom in, press E, click on him again, and then look around. Green, this brightest green, is things that he holds directly. Any other green territory is stuff that he owns as a vassal, or a vassal owns in his name. Blue are things that he's allied to, etc. So now if we press E again, and we go back to this view, we can see we are hostile to this guy and this guy. But notice that there's that flashing red around this guy, right here. And then this is flashing as well. This is the contested title. And so, basically, we need to go fight and take this. Because this character owns nothing but this one county, if we siege this, we'll have him at 100% occupation and we'll win the war. Hands down, guaranteed right away. We will go smash his army for good measure. There's the 70 gold for that, and we just fulfilled our ambition to have a son. We have a kid named Gilla-Christ. Very cool. You can rename him if you want. And we're trying to kill the king of Aquitaine again as well. Just won our little battle. Now I'm going to change this to a high priority thing, because I generally don't care. I know I'm going to win, because I usually will only fight an army when I know I'm going to win. I don't care about the war score changes, and the prestige is so insignificant, as is the military technology points. There is an alert that will pop up if you actually have enough technology to purchase something, so knowing how much we gained in each combat doesn't matter. And also, an unknown or unlisted side effect to having your battles as a high priority pop-up instead of a pause the game pop-up in front of you pop-up is you'll hear a sound effect when you win or lose battles. For some reason, the sound effect only plays when it's in the high priority or low priority message setting. It does not play with a big pop-up. I'll point that out when we hear it. Now this ratio, it's just a little bit too close even with mercenaries. We have succeeded with our plot to kill the king. So that's great. So we did get caught. It said good but bad, which means that we got caught. But notice how West Francia is rather large. Unfortunately, he's not our ally anymore. That's too bad. So the guy who used to be in charge, I didn't have him set as special interest. If we click West Francia, we go to history, we can see King Charles the Bald, your father-in-law. This is the character we originally arranged the marriage with. He died a maimed cripple, 870. He just died 6 months ago. Looks like we both are suffering from lacking appendages, but then King Louis II was murdered on our orders. Apparently this guy had died before I started murdering people. Oops. And so we've just helped to consolidate the Carling territory. But that's okay. So our wife has inherited claims on all kinds of stuff. And now we need to, hopefully, we can work on that to actually give our son a claim to something over there. It's unlikely we'd be able to face the strength of this whole country right now, but it's still fun to murder people. In fact, speaking of murdering people, let's murder this vassal. 68.5% chance. Let's try to kill him, just because he's never going to like us. Might as well try to get rid of him. Okay, well, I'm going to take a break here. I do look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you soon.